Welcome back to the Newbie Railroad, and today basically we're going to start off with an unboxing of a engine shed. Here's the picture up on the screen right now. And then I'm going to rank the Locos and the local manufacturers that I've gotten so far. Hopefully you'll find that a little interesting while I talk about why I like or don't like certain local manufacturers' products. And then we'll do a general layout update of some things and changes on the layout and wrap it up for this week. So enjoy.
Got a scenery unboxing to do here today. So Scenescapes from Bachmann. It's a single stall shed. I thought I'd put it on my layout someplace. Take a look at the outside of the box. It says rosin construction, HO scale, realistic details and colors. And on the back of the box, there's a list here, a bunch of item numbers of different buildings mostly that you can get from them. It's got Bachmann's address on it, and that's about it for the outside of the box. So let's go ahead and look inside if I can figure out how to open it. Okay, there's a tab here. And there's a block of foam inside. Whoops. Pull the block of foam out. And it's taped down. But we can fix that. All right, and it's got some paper on top of it. Completely insulated by foam. Yeah. Tight fit. Okay. Well, that's why it's a tight fit. There's a. Can you see that? No, you can't really see that, can you? There's a centerpiece, so it was like really in there. Okay, so there's probably a door. Looks like a graded. Oh, that's two of them. Okay, I don't see any paperwork with it, which means they assume it's self-explanatory. But there's two doors. They are plastic. They have kind of a metallic finish to them. Okay, and then open this up. Yeah, let's see what we got here. All right, so there's plastic windows along the top. The roof has got not much detail. The sides are corrugated. Inside here, there's a whoops. On this side, there's a man door right there, and I'm going to assume that these fit in here somehow. So I'm going to go put this on my layout someplace. Be back in a bit. Okay, unless I missed something, the doors I guess if you want the door on there, you got to glue it in place. They don't really slide in or anything. But, go forward. My Locomotive fits quite well, as you can see here. He sounds cool inside there. A little echo. So, yeah, all right. There's. I want to make a quick comment about locomotives. So far in my collection, I have 5 locomotives from 4 different manufacturers, and I wanted to just kind of put a ranking of the manufacturers that I have. Now, the obvious caveat here is that I only have 5 locomotives. It's an extremely small sample size. But so far, here's what I think. My number 1 favorite manufacturer so far is Athearn Genesis, and the reason is the locomotive I have from them, performance is excellent, the detail is very good, the sound is excellent, the manual that came with it was good, very good, complete. It's just all around excellent loco. So Athearn Genesis is number 1. Number 2 is Rapido, and there's a reason why they're not number 1, and I'll get into that. It has to do with their manual. The Locomotive that I have from them, the detail is top-notch, the performance is excellent, the sound is good, but the manual sucks rocks. So we'll talk about that in a minute. All right, number three, going down the list, Broadway Limited. Broadway Limited, I have 2 locomotives by them, one with sound and one without. The performance is good. The diesel I have from them does get stuck on switches, turnout sometimes, and I'm not exactly sure why. I need to do a little more research and try to figure out why that is. But the other problem with the reason they're not ranked higher for me is the sound. The Paragon 3, this is Paragon 4. The sound, I don't like it as well as Broadway Limited or Athearn's sounds. They both do a better job, I think, with sound than Paragon, which is what Broadway Limited uses. So that's the big reason they're down in number 3, I think, is the sound. And the performance isn't quite up there, but everything else is very good. So, good. And then number 4 for me is Bachmann. And let me reach across here. And the reason they're number 4 for me, I only have steam trains from Bachmann. I haven't bought a diesel yet, so I can't comment on the quality of their diesel locomotives. But for the steam engines, I really want to like them because I love steam engines, and there aren't that many steam engines in HO scale that are less than, I don't know, $500, $600, $700 or something crazy like that, and I'm not going to pay that much for a locomotive. So I really want to like Bachmann. The sound is okay. Their documentation is a little lacking, but not bad. But what really is the killer for me is the drawbar between the loco and the tender, which is, I'm not going to take it out of the plastic right now, but you can just take my word for it. The way it's a little metal strip that has a hole in the end, and there's a peg on the bottom of the tender that sticks down, and you put that hole over the peg, and that's how you connect the tender to the loco. Well, what happens is that it comes loose. It falls off. There's nothing holding it on there except just a little tiny bit of friction. And what happens when it falls off then is there are electrical connections between the tender and the loco, and so what's happening then is your loco is being drug around the track by the electrical connection, or you pick it up and it's disconnected and you don't realize it, and then you've got just the electrical connection holding those two things together. So to me, that drawbar for them is a non-starter for me, and I won't buy another Bachmann steam loco until they come up with a different solution for that. It just is not good. And so that's for me why Bachmann is number 4. Let me talk for a minute about why Rapido is number 2 instead of number 1. Okay, this is the operating manual for the Rapido train that I have, and the manual leaves a lot. They put a lot of time and effort into trying to be funny, and I wish they'd put more effort into actually proofreading. Let me give you 3 examples of where they needed the proofreader. First off, in this section, turn on the sound, it says, you can adjust CVs to prevent the locomotive from moving until the startup sequence is played out. We aren't keen on this feature, so we disabled it. Well, no, they didn't. Actually, that was active in mine, and it confused the heck out of me. I can go download the full ESU lock sound manual, which I looked at. It's like 130 some pages long. And find the information on how to set it back. it says at the time of this writing it was on page 35. So I could go and I will, no doubt, go find page 35. Okay, that's one thing. Now, the next thing. These are the functions, and note there's a few interesting things here. F8 is the startup, shutdown. F4 dynamic brake. F9 full throttle. Let's see. F11 class lights. Okay, now let's go look at the paragraphs they have that describe these things. Okay, first off, it goes from F7 to F9. They don't have an F8. What happened to F8? F8 was the start, shut, mute, shutdown. They just skipped it. They have two F9s, however. One says F9 is full throttle, and one says F9 is class lights. Well, no. Over here it says F11 is the class lights, and F9 is supposed to be full throttle. So then under F9 for full throttle, it says when you press F4, wait, and you turn on drive hold. No, wait. F4 is dynamic brake sound. F9 is full. This is probably supposed to be an F9. They left out F8. This F9 is mislabeled. This says F11 is cab light, and cab light is actually F16. And it's all screwed up, you know, basically. And then the last thing I'll just point out is back here at the back. It says parts diagram. It says you can find the full parts diagram on our website by visiting product support. Well, I went there and there's a link and it says parts diagram not available yet. Oh, excuse me. This train has been out for a few years. I don't know. Does it have? I don't think I see any place on here where it actually says what year this was actually first developed. It says, oh, here it says if you bought this model in 2020. So this has been out for a couple of years, and they still don't have the parts diagram online, even though they said in the manual that they were supposed to have it. So for me, the operating manual although it looks nice, you know, it's on good card stock, and it looks like, at first glance, looks like it's really complete. For me, the manual for Rapido gets an F, and that's why, for me, they're not number one, and that's why I like, so far, I like Athearn Genesis better. I do have, I'll just mention this briefly. In the mail, I have coming in the mail a Walters Loco, so I'll add them to my list of reviews or Locos that I've looked at. And that's coming. If you pre-order a Loco from someplace like Factory Direct, sometimes it can take a year or two before you get your Loco. Well, I have a horrible memory, so for me, I'll order something. Oh, this looks really cool. I'm going to pre-order this, and I'll pre-order it, and then I'll forget. And a year and a half later, I'll order something that's almost exactly the same, and now I've suddenly got two. So I have finally got around to going back and canceling some pre-orders. That back there on the back, that's where I decided to put the engine shed. And I did one other thing yesterday, I'll just point out here. Originally, like I said, mentioned in previous episodes, I had intended to put in a second reversing loop here someplace, but I couldn't really get it to fit, and so I've sort of given up on it for now. And since I've done that, I've gone ahead and connected this down to here. I had, I've had some extra track left over, so I had an extra switch that I put in. That little box there is the DCC connector for the switch. I had that one left over too. I had bought one. Those were the original ones that Bachmann came out with. Then later they're hard to get because they're usually out of stock, but they came out with these. And these are nicer in a way. The reason they're nicer is you can daisy chain them, so you can get like one power cable in here for a whole row of DCC switches. This one back here, the advantage to it is you can sit on the layout, and it looks, kind of nice, but you can't daisy chain them. So you have to, well, I mean, you could, I guess, with soldering, but you'd have to wire it up yourself. You can't just plug and play. So that one goes to this, and then this gets connected now. So I've got an extra turnout, an extra route here in the middle, just, I don't know, for fun. What else was I going to mention? one of the things that, people would obviously suggest that I should do is drill holes in the table and run the wires, underneath the table. I'm probably not going to do that because I'm kind of lazy, and I don't really bother with that. But what I will do eventually is put landscaping over it. So, for example, this cable here, there'll be a road here. It'll cover up most of this, and then the last little bit will get covered with a ballast, like I've done over there. I'll ballast that and then cover this with a road, and so you won't even know it's there. Same thing back there. I'll probably cover that guy up too. I don't have, those are the only two that really are on the layout. There's some other ones here that are along the edge. I could put something over them to kind of hide them, but I haven't gotten around to that. But anyway, that was it for, I guess while we're here, let's do one more thing. I ordered, Bottle Train stuff was having a sale on Bachmann stuff, and so I ordered some stuff, including some cattails. So here's, I got 2 packages of these cattails. There's 24 pieces in a package, and I'm going to try to glue those down. I put in a little, under my bridge here, it's got some clamps on it because it's drying, but I put a little cardboard panel there. I'll put some cattails on that and make it look like something. So, all right, that's enough for one day. I guess that's going to do it for this episode of the Newbie Railroad. Thanks for watching. Click that like button if you like my rants and raves, or if you like watching what I'm doing as I'm making my progress on my railroad. And I'll talk to you next time.